We are in Austria for the 5th round of the Talent Factory League Season 4. Welcome everyone. And today we are having a short qualifying session due to only having 16 drivers today with us. So not your usual Q1, Q2, Q3, but just 18 minutes of full qualifying. And still everybody in the pit lane. As we head back into the game, and we have 17 minutes left on the clock, and still everybody in the pit box. And today we have a lot of reserve drivers and new drivers that will remain with us for the remainder of the season. As we see CTR Jarno in the Williams car, the first to leave the pit lane. Williams driver finishing pretty well in Bahrain. From there on out, the results haven't been too good from him, and he would like to change that today. Let's put on some telemetry lap data in the map. As Jarvis and Steph are also on their outlaps, as well as Robin and Noah. So as we said, a lot of new drivers here. And let's go on board with one of them, Jars. And the Aston Martin, Yuxel not being here tonight, replaced by Jars. So as we said, 18 minutes of qualifying. The tire that you set your time on in this session, if you qualify in the top 10, will determine your starting tire. And as usual, when qualifying outside of the top 10, you have a free choice of tire for the race. As we go on board with Jars with the medium tire for his hot lap around Austria. And the first sector really only consisting of one real corner as we head into turn 3. There is a corner named corner 2 on the straight. Just a slight kink to the left. Braking for turn 4. And accelerating in 3rd gear. On towards turn 6 and 7. Double left-handers. And on towards the 3rd sector. Just almost losing it. And that's an invalidation. So he will have to try once again to get a lap time. Jarno also invalidating his lap time because he didn't set a lap time. And Robin, as Steph and Robin seem to have collided in the 3rd sector. And it looked like, Robin also disqualified from the session because the computer thought he was turning the wrong way. As Jagazan goes a 1:03.84 provisional pole on the medium tire. We have drama already in this qualifying session with Robin disqualified. Jagazan immediately invalidating his 2nd run on the medium tire. I don't think he wanted to go for another run on the tire anyway, as Borrell goes P2 in the Ferrari, a 1:04.1. And the next car heading over the line looks to be Noah. Nope. It's a Ferrari, Yup in the Ferrari going a 1:05.0. Should go faster. And the AlphaTauri of Leonard going for his hot lap now. Also with the medium tire, not having the best run through the first corner and heading towards turn 2, going through turn 2 and now braking just after the 100 meter board for turn 3. DRS open. I don't think he's having any useful tow from Jars in the Aston Martin. The number 13 AlphaTauri going through the second sector and ending it with a 44.7 on the clock. Going towards turn 9 and 10. Hitting the apex on the inside. And once again, nicely hitting the apex. What can he set? It will be a 104.2, which will be good enough for the 6 provisionally. Davey and Julian on track. Davey championship leader. This is the Haas of Steph. No, the Haas of Joey. Going for a hot lap now. That didn't seem like a... Oh, Joop on track. What did he do? He blocked Joey after going off at turn 1. And it should be a penalty for you. As Steph now on his way to turn 3. There's Joey on the left hand side, turning open the DRS, heading towards turn 4. That seemed like an odd incident, but it was definitely Joop's fault after going off. At the first corner, he didn't see Joey. Steph exiting the second sector with a 44.5. That's 0.4 faster than the time we saw before. Going through the third sector now, just hitting the apex on the inside. As well on the final corner, open the DRS. What will his time be? It will be a 104.0 P3 provisionally. And there's a Mercedes of Black Box heading towards the finish line. Now it will be a 103.744, which will be provisional pole for the Mercedes driver. So Black Box on top for now. Yaki-san close behind, 1/10 behind, with Jars in P3 in the Aston Martin. And his teammate Julian going for a hot lap now on the soft tire. Let's look at the different tires that have been used. The entire top 7 now on the soft tire. Julian just missing the apex for turn 3. Not ideal. Heading towards turn 4. P14 for the moment. But hasn't set a lap time. Julian. 2 podiums so far this season. Can he get another one here in the Styrian Mountains in Austria? A 44.5 for the second sector, and I think that will be a 104.0 that he's heading for. Exiting the final corner now, just drifting through the final corner, opening the DRS towards the finish line. It will be a 103.9, a little bit faster than a 104, just into the 103s. P3 provisionally. 2 Aston Martins occupying the second row on the grid. Fruitful in the Red Bull on his outlap, with Jarno in the Williams close behind, heading into the pit lane. Oh, Fruitful almost losing it, going out of the final corner, but still trying to set his hot lap right now. It looked like a pretty tight turn 1, maybe not the most exit speed out of the corner. Heading towards turn 3, 15.9 for the first sector. Missing the apex on the inside. Just losing the back end of the car a little bit. DRS wide open. Speeds of 200 miles per hour. Where can the Red Bull man go? It's Noah. Noah 0103.6. Now on provisional pole with Fruitful 44.4 through the second sector. And invalidating his run at the exit of turn 8. So Fruitful invalidating his run. Will he go for another lap? He will go for another lap. But Noah 103.6 fastest of all here in Austria. And the Alpine for now on provisional pole. Let's go for another lap with the Red Bull driver. This time the exit speed seemed a little bit better. DRS wide open. He seems to have enough ERS to complete a lap with full power. And not losing the rear end at turn 3 as much as he did last time. Leonard on the right hand side letting through Fruitful. Yellow flags here down turn 4. Jarno in the Williams in the way as Noah once again improves another 03.6 with the soft tire. As Fruitful goes a 44.2. Her previous lap he had a 44.4, so he's going to set a rapid lap time as well. Hitting the apex on the inside of turn 9. Exit of turn 10 is good. So what will his lap time be? DRS wide up 103.697. Almost beats Noah to provisional pole position, but is on the front row. And let's head towards Davy, who's improving by 4/10 of a second. Will go for P3, maybe even faster. Hitting the yellow curb on the inside of the final corner. 1:03.5 goes provisional pole position in the McLaren. Davy on pole position. As we head into the final minutes of the qualifying session. Yagizan heading into the pit lane. And Black Box going for another run here on the soft tire. Let's go on board with him. He's only 2/10 down from pole position, but heads deep into turn 1, which will invalidate his run. And what can Joey do in the Haas? He's P14 currently. Goes slower than his previous attempt, a 106.2. And another Aston Martin on his outlap. So Julian on his outlap will go for another lap right now. Let's see what he can do. Looks like braking point is around the 80 meters, maybe 70 meters. Under the Aramco sign towards turn 3, hitting the apex nicely this time. Crucial part here, maybe not the fast corners, but the slower corners is where you can win a lot of time. And Julian did it perfectly this time at turn 3. Towards turn 7 now. The 44.1. This will be an absolute rapid lap time by Julian. He will go for the provisional pole position. He will try to beat the McLaren driver to pole position. What can he do? Exiting the final corner, opening the DRS. He will go on 103.500 and improves by almost 4/10 of a second to goal provisional pole. 45 thousandths of a second faster than Davy in the McLaren. The Aston Martin on pole position. For now, it's still provisional pole. And McLaren teammate of Davy going P5, TFL Damiano, P5 in the McLaren. As the Ferrari Barrow heads into the pit lane. Drivers have been instructed, as we see a lot of cars exiting the pit lane, drivers have been instructed to not cross the white line at pit entry. Oh, as Leonard loses his car in the middle of turn 4. As we said, drivers have been instructed to not cross the white line at pit entry. That will be a thing that will be watched in the race. If drivers do it in qualifying, it won't be penalized. But in the race, oh, as Leonard spins his AlphaTauri at the final corner, let's hope he just can get it on track. He can get it back on track, luckily for him. Damiano has hit pits as well. Now I think that is Sitiajano on his outlap in the Williams. Let's go off board with the Williams driver into turn 1. Hitting the apex nicely, Jarno. You see the height difference in the track. A lot of elevation here at Spielberg. Opening the DRS, 7th gear, 8th gear. And I think we will see some cars struggling to go towards 8th gear on that part of the circuit. Of course, in the race, carrying a lot more fuel. Joop in the Ferrari has retired, going out of turn 4. I think he has spun. But Joop in the Ferrari has retired and will be P14 at best if Joey cannot improve. Jarno though will most certainly improve. Opening the DRS, he will go 104.4, winning 1 position from Elian Bayen. Yagizan crossing the line and going a 103.532. Rapid, but not rapid enough to be faster than Julian. Okay, let's go on board with the Alpine of Noah. Noah P4 at the moment, 1.5 times slower than the Aston Martin driver on provisional pole. As we head into the final laps of this qualifying session, 20 seconds left. So this will be Noah's last run in the qualifying session. Joey going for his final lap as well. As we see the Alfa Romeo in the bottom right hand corner crossing the line now. Elian going P11. And then it's a battery of cars as the Aston Martin driver has spun. Oh! Noah also spun at the exit of turn 4. I think in a similar fashion as Joop did earlier in the Ferrari. It looks like Damiano, did he cross the line in time to go for another lap? I think so. He is on another lap. And Davey going for another lap as well. If we look at the left top corner, the timer's already stopped. I think that's a glitch with the timing. Oh, black box 4 thousandths of a second slower than Julian in the Aston Martin. Almost going. Oh, Julian being in the way of Damiano. And now the qualifying session is ended. You can see the checkered flag behind Steph and Elian. Oh, Damiano invalidating his final run. So not the qualifying session that he would have wanted. Davey is not improving in the first sector. What can he do in the second sector? He is not faster than his previous attempt. 46 thousandths of a second slower. There goes the AlphaTauri across the line of Leonard. He does not improve. Can Davey improve in the final sector though? Oh no, he's invalidated his run. There is an Aston Martin of Jars. He's going into the pit lane. Oh, he's pinned it into the wall. Black box behind. Going into the pits as well. Bowen going into the pits as well. And I think that's our qualifying session done. Pole being decided by no less than 4 thousandths of a second. Julian on pole position with Black Box behind. Jagizan P3, Davy P4, and Noah P5. Fruitful in P6. And then it's Damiano, Steph, Jars, and Borrell completing the top 10. So they will have to start on the tires that they qualified with. And from Elian down, it's all a free choice of tire. So Steph having that collision with, let me see, he had a collision with Robin, yes. Getting him 5 places of grid penalties. So he will start P13. But interestingly, Jars and Borrell on the medium compound. So they will start on the slower compound, which might be the best choice for them going into the race. But it's Julian on pole position. So the man who got 2 podiums already will want to cap it off with a win here at Austria, and he has the best tickets in the house to go for a victory here. But don't discount any drivers behind, because the top 4 was just 45 thousandths of a second behind each other. As the race is dry, hey, we might see some rain later in the race, but we don't know for sure. We're just waiting for the players to start here in Austria. And with the shortened qualifying, the race coming a lot earlier than you're maybe used to. And we're starting in 26 seconds, as you can see on the top of the screen. Place your bet in the comment section. Who do you think is going to win the Austrian Grand Prix here in the Styrian Mountains? Will it be Julian? Will it be Black Box? Or will it be someone lower down the grid? We're getting ready. Drivers are going for a formation lap right now. So Julian is off. And the other cars are off as well, as the number 2 Ferrari seems to have jumped a few places at the start. That doesn't matter. The computer will sort that out when the grid will be formed. So Yagizan in the AlphaTauri, not having the best of luck as of yet this season. Has got a win at Baku, but he could have gotten so much more. Will he be able to convert a starting position inside the top 3 into at least a podium? Predicted pit stop strategy by the computer is a 2-stop. I think the drivers would prefer a 1-stop if it is possible with the tire wear. For certain, the medium runners behind, let's see what tire everyone is using. So everyone behind Jars is using the medium tire. Of course, Jars and Borrell qualifying on those mediums. Only Steph is using the soft tire outside the top 10. As we wait for the cars to line up in front of the lights that will turn red in just a few seconds, and when they go out, we'll go racing here in the Styrian Mountains in Austria. It's 36 laps around Spielberg. Julian on pole position, Black Box alongside him in the Mercedes. Lights are still out. 4, 5 lights on. The lights are out. They're not off the grid yet, but there they go. Cars are off the grid, and it's a good start for the Mercedes of Black Box, but Julian seems to defend it well. He heads into the turn 1 in first position as a Haas of Steph goes off the track at turn 1. It's Julian from Black Box from Jagisown. Red Bull of Fruitful winning a position immediately under attack. But Fruitful getting that 4th position. As Damiano goes for an attack on Fruitful. Can he make it? Can he make it? He won't make it. He will stick behind for now. But behind Davey and Noah are scrapping for a position. Noah going into P6. With the McLaren drivers side by side with Burrell. Burrell heading wide. He gives enough space to the Ferrari driver, Davey. But Davey stays in front for now. But behind them, the Haas of Steph and Leonard also going side by side. Leonard going off throttle to let Steph through. And Burrow with the medium tires having a pretty decent start. Also Jars not losing any position. So a pretty good start for the medium runners, not losing any position to other medium runners behind. Oh, Leonard seems to have been it at the first corner. He has gotten going again. So he is behind Joey now. And for now it will be a sort of a DRS train here. Austria is a bit of a track where the DRS train is famous. So every car behind 1 second or closer having the DRS. As there's a yellow flag, it's the Ferrari of Joop. Joop spinned his car out of turn 6 and has a long way to go to find. Oh, Joop spinning it again. Let's go to another view fast. Damiano losing contact with the top 3. So the top 3 are gone. Oh, Damiano almost losing his McLaren. Noah profiting from that goes into P4 in the Alpine. And his teammate Davey on the inside as well. McLarens both battling. First in the constructors. As Black Box and Julian are also battling. Black Box side by side with Julian to turn 4. Julian keeping the position on the inside. Black Box has to wait to make a move once again. As Burrow and Jars are also side by side. Jars losing no position. Burrow losing the position. Jars winning a position against Burrows. And Burrow only 37% ERS left. Oh, as Steph going around the outside of turn 10. Never have I seen that before. But he tried it. He's also trying to go around the outside of turn 1. I don't think that's the best move to try. But let's go to the front of the grid where Black Box now gets past Julian. But Julian crucially having the DRS towards turn 4. So DRS open. ERS not open. Yes, he's using DRS, ERS now. But Julian not happy with the move Black Box made, it seems. Looking at his steering gestures. Damiano close behind as Joop gets a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Damiano side by side with Noah. And Noah giving enough room to the McLaren drive, but Noah going wide towards the final corners. Turn 9 will be up now. And Damiano is in front of the Alpine driver. So Damiano getting back in front of Noah. As Noah struggles to keep pace here in the race, it seems. And Damiano profiting from it. But now Noah has the DRS and can attack in turn 3. Will he do that though? He won't do it, but he's on the bumper of the McLaren driver. He hits him and doesn't get the position. But who might get the position is Julian. Julian won't get the position. And Jagizan, the Turkish driver, also not getting the position. He's staying behind for now as well. As Noah, Davy, Bol, all so close to one another. Jars in the mix as well, as is Steph, as there's a yellow flag. It's Fruitful in P14. He has spun at turn 3. Steph gets a 3-second time penalty. We saw he crossed the white line. And he's just drifting through some of these corners here at Austria. And here we see the DRS train in full effect. But let's go on board with Jagizan, because he can see the top 2 going side by side now. Julian staying behind because he wants the DRS. Jagizan wants to profit. And Jagizan goes into the lead of the race. But Black Box is still in the outside. Gets the better run out of turn 3. Black Box into the lead. Going back on board with Julian. Can he do anything about it? No, he can't. He lost the position. Oh, he has to get out of the way of the Turkish driver, almost going into the back of him. But Jagizan now into P2 after Julian didn't want to get the DRS to a Black Box in the Mercedes. But they're all so close here, the top 3. And let's look at the ERS management. Black Box obviously leading the train, having the hardest job of managing his ERS levels, is at 50%. Jagizan on 70 and Julian on 86. Oh, Black Box having a bad exit. Can Jagizan do anything about it? He's gaining on Black Box. He's not going for a move on Black Box, but Julian heading into the back of the Turkish driver, hitting the gearbox of the Turkish driver, Julian. I don't hope for Julian that he has damage, but that looked like a hefty impact for the Aston Martin. And he's on 100% ERS, but let's see if he heads into the pit lane. Burrow with his medium tires closing up to Noah. Might have gotten a track limit there. Noah struggles to keep up with Damiano in the McLaren, our Italian GP race winner, of course. And now, oh no! Jagizan has binned it at start finish. They were getting oh so close. The top 3 getting closer to the cars behind. And with it, Jagizan spinning on the main straight. Does he have damage? Looking from the off-board, I don't see any immediate damage. But that certainly has damaged his race, as Noah and Bol go side by side. Bol trying to make the move on the Alpine driver, but Noah only having 3%. Oh, what was that? It's a virtual safety car. And Noah braking on the straight. For Jars, I don't hope he has damage to his front wing, because that was a very sudden stop from Noah. But it's a virtual safety car, and I don't know what for. But let's look for penalties. So let's put on the penalties. We have a few corner cutting penalties already, as Noah heads into the pit lane. Black Box heads into, no, does not head into the pit lane. Julian heads into the pit lane. Let's look on board with Julian. Does he set a new wing to his Aston Martin? No, he won't. So he doesn't have damage to his car. But we see Damiano in the McLaren closing up real close to Julian. So he was a few seconds behind a few laps ago. He's closed up nicely to the Aston Martin driver. And Ball with his medium tires now in P2, Jars in P3 in the Aston Martin. And Davey P4, our championship leader. And Black Box having having a 2.1 second gap to Ball, as no driver seems to have gotten a drive-through penalty. Let's look at the drivers that have gained the most positions up till now. So Borrell has won the most positions with 5 positions. Leonard also won 6 positions, and Jars winning 5 positions. Of course, they haven't pitted yet. Jars on the back of Borrell, both starting inside the top 10, both starting on the medium tire. Borrell having a bad exit out of the first corner. Jars is putting ERS and DRS, and he has overtook the Ferrari, and the McLaren driver of Davy not being able to profit of it, so he has to stay behind. Jars into P2 as Robin and Joey go side by side. Oh, Joey almost losing the rear of his car. Oh, there we go, 2 cars side by side. Julian and Damiano going side by side towards turn 6. Damiano on the inside. They give each other enough respect, enough room. Even side by side through turn 7. Julian hanging on around the outside and gaining the position on Damiano. Good overtake. Jars setting a best lap time in the process. Fastest lap, a 1:06.2. And a lot of cars are just drifting through the final corner, it seems, today. Steph now setting the fastest lap on his new medium compound, a 1:05.4. And you see the difference a new tire makes. Damiano, once again on the back of Julian, wants to get that position back, and he does so. But Noah, behind in the Alpine, wants to gain a position as well. Let's go on board with Noah. Steph, I don't think, has a chance of overtaking one of these cars. Damiano putting a lot of ERS at work. They go 3 wide in turn 4. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between Noah and Damiano, and Julian once again side by side with Damiano through turn 6. Julian backing out. And this train is very close and is battling very hard as Julian loses his car almost coming out of turn 7. Damiano in P7. Julian P8. Noah P9 and Steph P10. With Julian and Noah having a time penalty. And looking in front, we see Jars, Borrell, Davy gaining on Black Box. Black Box, of course, on those old soft compound. As Borrell easily gets past Jars. Jars not using any ERS. And the Aston Martin driver losing out to the Ferrari. The Ferrari is now gaining on Black Box. Can Black Box keep Borrell out of the DRS? As Borrell goes wide, gets a time penalty. As Noah has binned his car in the barrier out of turn 4. Is now P11 outside of the points. As Joey gets past in the Haas. And Borrell now within DRS of Black Box. Black Box having 21% of ERS. It looks like it's time to box for new tires at this moment, because they are gaining rapidly. As Jagizan is doing just that. He's into the pit lane. Black Box is just 1/10 in front of Borrell in the Ferrari. He's pushing his ERS. Black Box is not pushing ERS. Black Box knows it. Borrell goes past for the lead in the race. Borrell in the Ferrari into the lead. Jars battling with Borrell all the time. Now is still in P3 as Borrell is in P1. Noah has retired from this session in the pit lane. We have 11 runners left in this race. As Black Box heads into the pit lane now, and that was very close between Jars and Black Box. And Black Box, Davy going through, going on for one extra lap. Borrell is still in the lead. Just behind Davy on those old tires. Julian has closed up to Damiano. Let's go on board with Damiano. He has the ERS advantage. Julian has pushed some ERS to get close to the McLaren driver, but he sticks behind for now. Can he get a good enough exit to attack into turn 4? I don't think so. The distance is just too big for now. So Julian sticking behind Damiano. And let's look at everyone who has pitted. So from Damiano back, only Robin and Joey haven't pitted yet. Everyone in front of them have pitted. As Davy now heads into the pit lane, it will be interesting where he gets out, as Davy gets 5 seconds worth of time penalties in the pit lane for speeding in the pit lane. Changes for a new compound of medium tires. But let's go back to the lead battle in the race. Borrell heading wide after turn 3. Can he get a good enough exit to keep the Aston Martin behind? I think he'll keep him behind for now, as he does. So Borrell still in the lead of the Grand Prix. And Julian still behind Damiano in the McLaren. So a lot of people having time penalties. And this race might be decided by those time penalties. If these two pit for the soft tires, and if they will battle their way to the front on those tires, Borrell still has the 3-second time penalty to cope with, so Jars would win the race if that would be the situation at the end of the race. But we're not there yet, not by a long shot, 20 laps left. But might this be the lap where Jars will overtake the Ferrari to drive away into the distance, or won't he attack? He's 4 tenths behind. He's not using his ERS, so he's fine with staying behind Borrell for now. And he can't overtake the Ferrari driver. Julian doing the same strategy as we saw him do last race in Spain, by not overtaking Damiano for a long time, just using his ERS at the end of the race to maybe gain a position. But the thing is, Damiano in the McLaren has 62% of ERS left, so he is able to defend with the amount of ERS he has. And looking in front, Damiano is gaining on Leonard. Leonard is in P3 in the Alpha Tauri. And still the top 3 not having made a pit stop, as Jars once again is on the back of Borrell. But will he go for an overtake now? He is using overtake. He is using his DRS. Let's go on board with the Ferrari. He heads for the inside, and Jars is into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Oh, Borrell hits the back of Jars. Don't think that's damage, but there was a slight bit of contact, but not too hefty to cause any damage to the cars, I think, as Borrell heads wide onto the curb at the exit of turn 7. Might have gotten him another warning, and he has a penalty already. And after being overtaken by the Aston Martin, he seems to struggle on his tires, as Leonard gets a 3-second time penalty in P3. And the thing is, Damiano has made a stop already. The top 3 haven't stopped yet. They will certainly be behind Damiano after they have pitted. But Julian is behind him, and he seems to have pace to be able to overtake the McLaren driver. Oh, Julian almost losing the rear of his car. That'll give encouragement to Steph to go for an overtake. Steph not having enough ERS, sadly for him. Only 1% in the battery. And we see Damiano now on the back of Leonard. And for the top two, it would be best if Leonard could keep Damiano behind for some time. But I don't think the tires would allow Leonard to do that. So Leonard in P3. If the tires of Damiano are so much better than Leonard's, should be overtaken on the next straight or the straight towards turn 4. As looking at the interval at the left hand side of the screen, the battle for the lead will be going through to turn 4 as Damiano gets past Leonard, Julian as well. Julian on the inside of Damiano, not being able to make a move, had a front wing in there. Just pushing a little bit of ERS at the exit of the corner. Oh, Jars looked like he made a mistake because he was fully in front of Ball heading in towards the corner. But now Ball is back into the lead of the race. Damiano only 6 seconds behind the two leading cars, having already made a pit stop. Julian behind him. Oh, as Ball looks to be in the pit lane. So Ball in the pit lane. Jars is leading the Grand Prix once again. As this group of cars, Steph, Damiano, Julian, very close behind one another, and Leonard close behind them, but having to make one more stop. Also having to make one more stop are Robin and Joey in P10 and 11 respectively. And braking for turn 3, the gap was only 2 tenths between Steph and Julian. You saw them clustering at turn 3. But this is typical Julian. He waits to make his overtake at the best time for him. Looking at Ball though, Ball on the soft compound and changing the interval to the leader is now 16.8 seconds behind. Oh, Leonard, has he spun? Leonard has spun and will head into the pit lane. Oh, he doesn't have a front wing. Oh, of course, crosses the pit lane entry line. That's not very weird if you have a broken front wing. Also speeding in the pit lane. Jars in the pit lane as well. And Leonard retires in the pit lane. Jars, where will he come out? He will come behind Ball in the Ferrari. So the overcut not working for Jars. And Ball, it seems, only 10.3 seconds behind the leader at this time. So he would have to gain 10 seconds to Damiano with Jars pitting. He is now the leader of the race. Julian P2, Steph in P3. But if Black Box can close up to those two, he would get those podium places. Because the top 3, 2 of those drivers have penalties. Black Box just has to gain a little bit of time to profit from those penalties. As Robin gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. As Ball sets the fastest lap of the race on 1:05.2, and he's gaining very fast in the Ferrari. The gap is 9.2 to Damiano. As Yagizan has been overtaken by Jars. Of course, Jars on the soft compound of tire after pitting from the lead of the race. And the battle for P1 is so close here at the front. And the Ferrari of Ball, I think he will win this race with the pace he's showing now. 14 laps left for him to gain time on those soft tires. Ball, though, having the 3 seconds worth of time penalties, would have to win 3 seconds against Damiano when he has overtaken the McLaren driver, so it won't be an easy job for him to win. But with the pace he's showing, that might certainly be an option. Jars now a 1:04.6 fastest lap of the race as the top 3 once again very close to one another. Julian once again having a bad exit and not being able to make a move on Damiano. You see the difference in driving style. Julian just waiting to use his ERS almost at 100%. Steph using it out of every corner to keep up with the leading pair. So I don't see Steph overtaking these guys very soon because of his ERS situation. Looking at Damiano, he is only 30% of ERS left, so Julian is playing the long game here by staying behind the McLaren driver. Let's go on board with Black Box. Black Box not having any penalties yet. Let's look at the penalties that are given. Steph having 9 seconds, so he will drop back a lot from his P3. And let's go back to the battle for the lead because it had gotten very close once again. Davey 8 seconds, Burrell 3 seconds, and Robin 3 seconds as well, and Julian 3 seconds that we saw already. Well, where is Burrell? Burrell is 7.4 seconds behind Damiano. So he has gained 2 seconds in 2 laps. If he would continue setting those lap times that he's setting now, he would gain easily on Damiano. But of course, these soft tires will lose their grip at some stage. The medium tires not getting better as well. The soft tires will deteriorate a lot faster than the medium compound. Julian having a good run on Damiano after turn 1. Now he is pushing his ERS. Now he is going for an overtake on the McLaren driver. Easily gets past. Damiano looked like he went off the power, letting past Julian. But Damiano thinks about overtaking Julian at turn 4. Damiano wanting to go around the outside. Julian defending around the outside. He goes, but he can't make the move. Steph behind looking to gain a position as well, but he has to stay behind. So it's Julian from Damiano from Steph. And behind them is Black Box and Davey and Burrell in P6. Burrell 5.8 seconds behind Julian now. But we see Burrell pushing a lot of his ERS. And Jars, 2 seconds behind him, has also used a lot of his ERS. So overtaking might not be the easiest job for the Ferrari driver. And heading back towards Julian's point of view, Damiano is once again close behind. Julian having to push DRS and ERS to keep Damiano behind. Damiano on the back of Julian. Will Damiano overtake the Aston Martin driver? No, he won't. He does not have the overspeed for now, but he's so close behind the Aston Martin. Still behind for now. Burrell though within 5 seconds of the leading car will keep the leader gaps for now at the bottom, the top left hand side of the screen, as Jars gets 3 seconds worth of time penalty. So now he won't be in front of Burrell at the finish line. We'll keep the leader times for now on the top left, because we want to see how much the Ferrari driver is gaining on these drivers. Julian is not pushing his ERS, is on 46% now. Damiano keeping behind, but can he make a move towards turn 4? He's very close behind. Julian knows that he has to push ERS, and he stopped pushing his ERS. Still behind. and Steph. 9 seconds worth of time penalties, or 8, sorry, I don't remember which one it was, but a lot of seconds worth of time penalties. Not getting his podium here at the Red Bull Ring, but showing some very decent pace. As this yellow flag, oh, it's a yellow flag, it's Ball! Ball has binned it in the Ferrari. So the man who looked like he could take a podium today has binned it. That means Jars on his fresh soft compound is in position to get a very nice position as Ball heads into the pit lane, certainly to retire from the race or at least change to another set of tires. But Ball binning his race here in lap 27, and that's very bad for the Ferrari driver, who seemed to be able to have the pace to get a podium. So now the battle for the win is displayed right here on your screen. It's Damiano versus Julian, and Jars is 3.5 seconds behind Davy. But having to overtake all those cars, it won't be an easy job, as Julian has a Y. It won't be an easy job for Jars to get to the podium places. Julian having 40% of ERS left, Damiano having 44% of ERS left, so Damiano now having the advantage with his ERS. Julian not defending from the McLaren driver, he goes for the move on Julian and heads into the lead of the race here on lap 29. Steph behind, can't do once again anything about it because he doesn't have enough ERS. Now it's Julian's turn once again to gain some more ERS to use at the end of the race and play the long game to try to overtake Damiano. But of course, Julian, having 3 seconds, will be relegated down a few positions. Black box behind, looking for a second place finish as it stands with the time penalties. But will he be able to make some moves on track? Julian having a bad exit. Can Steph do anything about it? He's looking to overtake, but he can't do anything for now. Having a good exit though, but doesn't have the ERS to make a move on Julian. You see he's in the slipstream. He has ERS, he has DRS, but not enough. Can he do anything about it now? No, he can't. Julian on the inside of Damiano. Julian getting back into the lead, but Damiano, the good exit as Steph spins his car around, and Julian trying to go once again for a move on Damiano, and the McLaren can't make a move. Steph binning his car into the barrier after turn 3, and Black Box now elevated to P3 with that spin from the Haas, looking to try to get a win on track. But first he has to overtake Julian and Damiano. He will get the position on Julian after the time penalty gets applied, but Damiano doesn't have a time penalty and is on pole position to get a race win here, as Steph once again has spinned his car out of turn 10 and is on the start-finish straight. Julian is looking to get a position on Damiano. He can't do that yet, but will he be able to make a move towards turn 4? He's using his DRS, not using his ERS, as Steph has been disqualified. I don't think he was able to get his car straight onto the track in time, so the game has disqualified Steph from the race. So from a from a P3 to a P16 with his disqualification, and that's very sad for his race. Davey behind Black Box, behind Julian, behind Damiano, is in P4, will finish in P4 with his time penalty as well. because Jagizan is in P6 but is 7 seconds down on the man in P5 is Jars. Has closed up to the top 4. Difference is Jars does have the soft compound. But it's very close here with Blackbox and Julian. Blackbox into P2, overtaking Julian on track. And Blackbox has overtaken Julian. But Davey wants to try and overtake Julian as well. Julian weaving. Oh, Julian going to the left hand side, opening the door for Davey. Davey in P3. Julian side by side with Davey in the McLaren, the 34 McLaren. Towards turn 7 now. Davey having to stick behind. Jars behind on his soft compound. Can he take any advantage out of those tires in lap 32? Lap 32 he can't. Maybe in lap 33 now, as there are 4 laps left. Davey having the red light blink at the back of his car, meaning he doesn't have a lot of ERS left. Jars is using his ERS, is using the slipstream and the DRS to his advantage, but there is a move for the lead going on as well. Black box around the outside of Damiano, can't make the move at turn 3. Jars also not being able to make the move at turn 3, having to stick behind Julian. But Black box is trying to gain on Damiano, he goes for the inside at turn 4. He makes the move on the McLaren driver. They are side by side. And Black box is in the lead. Damiano still side by side with him on the inside. He is side by side going through turn 6. And Black box into the lead of the race. Overtaking Damiano on track on the outside of turn 7. Without a time penalty, these two will finish 1 and 2. But the battle for the lead has blown wide open here at lap 33. And Damiano will want to get that position back. He's so close to the McLaren driver once again. He's gaining with the ERS and the DRS. Black box having 30% of ERS left, a little bit less than Damiano in McLaren. But Damiano once again going for a move on Black box in the Mercedes towards turn 3. Black box has lost the position to Damiano. Once again, Black box though, wanting to make a move on Damiano in the slipstream, in the DRS, is going around the outside of the McLaren driver. He once again takes the lead here on lap 34. And every lap, these cars are switching their positions. But it's Black box now into the lead of the race. Damiano in P2. Julian in P3 as there's a yellow flag. And it's Davey and Jars. Both have spun. I think after contact, yes, a severe collision with Jars, giving Davey a 5-second time penalty. Davey not happy with what has happened there. Weaving on the straight. And it looks like Jars is going into the pit lane and retiring, or at least trying to put on a new compound of tire to go for fastest lap. But Damiano once again going for the lead here of the race, and he's into the lead with Julian into P2 after making a little bit of a cheeky move on Black box, but still Black box in P2. Black box is pushing his ERS and his DRS, but is still behind the McLaren driver after being overtaken at turn 3. As we almost head into the final lap of this race. 9 runners left, but the battle for the lead is so close. Here on lap 35, Julian having 3 seconds worth of time penalties at least. Cannot win this race if something doesn't happen, as Damiano gets 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Damiano gets a time penalty, which certainly will give the win to Black box in the Mercedes here. Will something happen here? Or will Black box just stay behind it? Damiano almost loses his car. And now it's the battle for position for Julian and Damiano. Julian on the right hand side of Damiano, going for a move on Black box as well. No, he doesn't make a move. But Damiano gets back into P2. Julian on the inside towards turn 4. Can he make a move on the McLaren driver. They're side by side going through turn 4. Julian on the inside, Damiano on the outside. Damiano has lost the position to Julian. Julian into P2. Black box into P1. Damiano can't make a move into turn 6. So he's black box from Julian from Damiano, heading towards the third sector, in the third sector, heading towards turn 9. It has been an absolute storming race for Black Box, a masterclass from him. He heads into turn 10, he goes towards the final corner, out of the final corner, and he wins in TFL. Black Box wins the Austrian Grand Prix. It's Damiano in P2, Julian in P3 after time penalties have been applied. So Julian did have more time penalties, and actually Jagizan got into P3 as well. So Julian having a lot of time penalties, Davey in P5, Bowl will get P6, even P5 with more time penalties for Davey, with Robin in P7, Jars in P8 after the collision with Davey, and Joey in P9. But an absolute masterclass of a race from Black Box. He wins the Austrian Grand Prix, and that was a jewel of a race here in the Styrian Mountains. He wins here in Austria. Driver of the day goes to Robin. But an awesome race for the top 3. Yagizan, I don't think he thought he would get anywhere close to the podium after he was down in P8, P7 for the entire race, but he got into P3 by sheer determination. But Black Box wins here in Austria after overtaking both cars in front of him, Damiano and Julian. And he will certainly be happy to win the Grand Prix. So only 2 drivers that have finished didn't have time penalties, and that were Black Box and Jagizan. All cars having time penalties behind. So Julian having 9 seconds in the end, Damiano having 3 seconds, which puts him P2. And that means by Davey finishing P6, I think he's still in the lead of the championship. But Black Box is crawling near Davey. Yagizan also getting very close in the Drivers' Championship. And Jars taking fastest lap with a 1:04.1. An absolute masterclass of a race. Let's invite Black Box, Damiano and Yagizan to the party to start the interviews now. So that will be, let's look, Damiano, Black Box and Jagizan will be added to the party now. Just waiting for the drivers to join the press conference or the interview now. And the first one to join here is Black Box. Black Box, congratulations. Awesome race in the final few laps. What do you have to say about it?
Well, I mean, thank you. And what can I say? The king is back on top. I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah, awesome job.
We've had a 2-week break, and I was ready to go. I wanted to get back on the track. Austria is a good track of mine, and yeah, I did it again. So yeah, I'm here, and I just want to say that definitely would have been a good stream on YouTube because there were so many overtakes, so many like collisions, and obviously that's not good. But there's a lot of wheel-to-wheel action, and yeah,
like you said, a lot of collisions, but as well. A lot of good wheel-to-wheel action, and you put in a masterclass at the end that to get that first position.
Like I always do. I always do that.
I hear you're very happy with the win finally because you got a few podiums here before, but not the results that you would have wanted. Yeah, let's see if the other drivers join because it was a very close battle between Damiano. Okay, Damiano can join the party, but it was a very close battle between Damiano and Julian, and Damiano getting a penalty in the final few laps just was a very encouraging moment, I assume, if I were you, Black Box.
Yeah, I mean, I knew their tires would have been finished because they pit a lot earlier than I did.
Yeah.
So I think only me and Davey made the smart choice of pitting late, and then we could get them towards the end. And yeah, we made we made a good strategy call and hunted them down. We pushed to the end, but there was a slight bit of fear that if Damiano doesn't get this penalty, then I could potentially lose because he did seem quite quick. But in the end, he did get it, and I got him on track anyway. So worked out either way.
It looked like a bit of a train, but Damiano not having the best tires, just closing the train up a little bit more. And it was just an awesome race to watch at the end. But congratulations once again. And we'll see each other once again, I think 1 week from now, Davey. Do you know that? Yeah? 22nd of October, so that will be with 2 weeks, England. So join us in 2 weeks' time. Black Box, you wanted to say?
Oh yeah, it's my home track, so definitely going to put on another good track.
Going for the double.
Of course, always.
So we're looking forward to it. Thank you for watching the stream, and we'll see you once again next time.
Yep.